Hey, Roger Martin here from Billings, Montana. Good day. And this is a copy of this group here. And the important point is Bernie Sanders and his socialistic ideas with the Democratic Party is crazy. And the most important part of this message is that the Democratic Party in Venezuela, that's how the socialistic group got started and destroyed Venezuela. Look at Cuba, Venezuela. Look at Eastern Russia. Look at Russia. They're not doing as well as they need to do. And the reason is because of the socialistic ideas, government-controlled socialistic ideas. And that's where we're headed if we're not careful in this country.
He said, in quote, Bernie Sanders is the enemy of every entrepreneur that's ever going to be born in the country and has been born in the past. Let's take a look at this clip of old crazy Bernie.
Bernie Sanders is out today with a plan that will tax Wall Street trades. Pennies on the dollar, but it's a start to pay for, among other things, college debt and maybe free college down the road.
Well, look, don't bring up Bernie Sanders because that's a red flag in front of me because he's the enemy of every entrepreneur that's ever going to be born in this country and has been born in the past.
Well, he represents about half the candidates' views on this.
Well, we don't have, our kids today don't learn Western civilization. They don't learn history. History repeats itself. You see things happening over and over again.
If he became president, what would you guys do?
Me, probably move to Australia.
You can't take that aquarium.
Well, what could he do? I mean, he can't do anything to us. He's going to affect my grandchildren. And let me just bring up one thing.
Sure.
Bernie Sanders talks about socialized medicine. My foundation now is working on one issue, and that is taking care of these veterans, kids who fought in Afghanistan, Iraq. You know that 20 a day commit suicide. 20 every single day. What is Bernie Sanders doing about that? Why don't he shut his mouth and do something about these kids? They go to the Veterans Administration, they can't take care of it. The proof of the pudding is 20 a day of committing suicide. If it was measles, the CDC, the world would be in an uproar. But it's the kids that put their lives on the line, that are treated so badly. I didn't hear one single candidate talk about it. And by the way, Trump is fully supportive of this, and you know he's done some things. They can fire people that have done the wrong thing at the Veterans Administration. The Veterans Administration is what medical care is going to be like in the United States if Bernie Sanders is
Well,
elected.
you mentioned the president. Let me get your take on this. The president has said, if I'm not reelected, expect a market crash. What did you think of that?
I don't know about that, but let me go back to Bernie Sanders for a minute. Believe it or not, Chavez in Venezuela came to power through a democratic process.
Chavez came in power through a democratic process. That ought to scare the hell out of anybody that loves the freedom in this country. It's a real red flag and it's a real warning.
If the people in America today, the fellas out here with the hard hats on, if they want to know what the future holds for them following Bernie Sanders, go to Cuba, go to Venezuela, go to Russia, go to Eastern Europe. Guess what? It doesn't work.
That never worked.
The average Venezuelan last year lost 34 pounds. There's no food down there.
And look, they had a lot of riches to begin with.
It was one of the wealthiest countries in the Southern Hemisphere. It was sitting on a huge pool of oil.
That was an incredible interview with two American business icons.
From Home Depot. We're going to end it there. This is Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Review this. Think about what they said. This is a real warning. It's a real wake-up call. The Democratic Party needs to be put in its place, and it needs to be replaced with a more conservative group. Even the Tea Party or someone else that will push even the Republicans. But there needs to be greater conservative wisdom in the Democratic Party. And I don't know if we'll ever get there. I'm not so concerned about Trump not getting reelected. I've showed other videos where these 9 presidential candidates only had 300 people come to their stuff. So I'm not worried. And Trump has done his opening statements and run for office in 2020 in Orlando, Florida. And there were tens of thousands just packed into that stadium. So I'm not really worried. But I do think it's a warning that we need to really push the Democratic platform down in the dirt and bury it and not support it in any way. The only thing that the Democrats have that is worthwhile even looking at is some things on minor issues. All their major issues are worthless, are just totally bonkers and worthless. So as far as a party platform, it sucks big time. Kenneth Roger Mark for Billings, Montana. Democratic Party is doomed for nothing but trouble, and most Americans know it. I think the vast majority, probably 60% or more. But what are the elections going to do? See, the socialistic programs have been pushed in this country for over 100 years, and this is what we've got to show for it. Not just in the Democratic Party, but rhinos in the Republican Party and people that have been bought off and elites have been bought off because they want total control of the financial powerhouse in this nation. And that's scary. And that's another topic. But it's one that's probably the most important topic that we could talk about. And Trump is addressing it in several ways. Again, I'm not worried about Trump getting reelected. I think he will. I am worried more about vote and fraud in the voting area, but I think he will surprise us again. And I don't think the true dynamics of what's going on in the voting has really been shown. I think voting fraud, if it were just taken care of, you would see Trump would win by such a large landslide, probably 15 to 20 points above any Democratic component, maybe more like 2 to 1 if the voting fraud was cleared up in this country. It's not, so it's going to look closer than it actually is. Again, this is Roger Mark from Billings, Montana. Good day. Share this and realize that Bernie Sanders and the socialistic platforms of the Democratic Party are the destruction of free enterprise and this nation and all of its freedoms as we currently know and understand them. In Jesus Christ's name, amen.